Hi everyone, I'm Mia, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do your face basically. I'm just going to be doing an in-depth tutorial on just the face. So I'm going to be giving you tips on products to use for dry skin, oily skin combo, certain techniques I'd recommend using. I'm doing this because it's been a highly requested video. And I also know that certain people struggle to figure out what skin type they have, and they also are not always sure what products to actually use on them. So I'm gonna be giving you all the information I know today, so hopefully it helps. And if it does, please remember to comment down below letting me know, and to go like and subscribe and hit the bell to make sure you miss none of my future videos. I post every Wednesday, Friday and Sunday 8:30 p.m, so be sure to tune in for that. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit and we'll get right into it. So I'm just going to be starting off by talking about primer. Now I personally have quite dry skin, so I like to use a moisturising primer. This is the MAC Strobe Cream in the shade Gold Light, and I just like to apply this just a little bit like that and rub it on my fingertips and just apply it everywhere. And as you can see, that just gives the skin a really nice glow, and it's super hydrating, so it helps my skin a lot. Now I also sometimes, like if I don't want heavy foundation, I'll mix a little bit of that into my actual foundation, so then it's more like a BB cream, which I do that more often, like everyday basis. But if I'm going out, I'll just use it like this to actually prime. Now if you have combination skin, for example, you could definitely use a product like this without a doubt, it would be absolutely fine. But I suppose you might get oily in your T-zone or in certain areas, so I'd recommend using either a pore filling kind of primer in your certain areas, or I'd also recommend using like a silicone based one, because that really helps mattifying. The Porefessional is amazing from Benefit, and I really enjoy the Smashbox Photo Finish primer as well, because I don't find this dries me out a lot, whereas the Benefit Matte Porefessional, I think it is, that's a really good one for people with oily skin. So if you have oily skin, I definitely recommend that one, but for me it's just too drying. So I'm just going to go into a little bit of the Smashbox primer today and just take a little tiny bit, get it on my fingers and just use this to smoothen it out. This is like a bit of a blurring primer as well, but as I said before, it's not drying and it doesn't exaggerate any dryness either. So that is my ideal primer. I wouldn't say primer is a necessity as such. I suppose you can just use a cream, but if you've got oily skin more than dry, I definitely recommend using a primer, because it'll help your foundation stay on a lot longer. Whereas if you have dry skin, you can definitely just go in with a moisturiser and you'll be good to go. Now for foundation, my personal go-to at the minute is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Hydrating Foundation, and as I've said, I have dry skin, so this is really nice and hydrating. It doesn't dry me out or stick to any dry skin I have or anything. So if you have dry skin, I definitely recommend you giving this a try. It's a great foundation. But I'm going to give you a few more options. This is like medium coverage, so you can build it up to full, but I like to keep it medium most of the time. Whereas if I'm going on a long night out, I really like the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation, and this is very full coverage, so I wouldn't recommend it for like an everyday to day basis, because for me personally it like clogs my pores a little bit because it's so heavy. But if you are going on a night out, it's fabulous, it really is, and the coverage is amazing, and I think you can use this no matter what skin type you have, so it's good in that sense. Now I've got a few drugstore ones, just in case, you know, you don't want to splurge as much. Now the Maybelline Fit Me, oh, fabulous foundation. It's really lightweight, and this is the matte and poreless one, so this is great for people with oily skin. But I managed to use this really easily without it exaggerating any dryness, so that's absolutely fine for me. Now this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation, and this is a lovely foundation and great price, but for me personally, my skin is a little bit too dry for this foundation, and it can exaggerate little dry patches that I have sometimes. So for me personally, I'll need to like mix this with my cream like I said before, or a pump of like liquid highlighter, just something to give it a little bit more moisture, because like it does pull on my dry parts a little bit. But it is a fabulous foundation and really cheap, so I definitely recommend using it. So I'm just going to quickly apply my foundation. I'll just take a pump of this. I'm not going to be using a strobe cream in it as well today, because as I've already shown, it's already on my face. So just going to go in with a Real Techniques stippling brush. Always make sure you go down the neck and a little bit onto the ears, otherwise your face isn't going to match. This isn't the greatest shade for me at the minute, but it's the only one I've got and it's my favourite, so I'll make it work. And never be afraid of mixing foundations, because sometimes you can't actually find your perfect shade in the store, so if you just mix the foundations you have at home, it sometimes works. Just really swirling that in. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before on my channel, but I like to use a stippling brush for my foundation. And with a stippling brush you do swirl, you don't pat, or at least that's my way of using it. Whereas if I'd use, like for example, a flat brush like this, I wouldn't swirl, it wouldn't fit the brush as well. So with this I would pat, and same with a beauty blender. But with this brush specifically, I like to just buff it in, but you know, still using light motion. And just as easy as that really. It's so easy to blend in, it really is. So just like that, and as you can see I've got this really nice glow. Now concealer. Concealer's a bit of a tricky one I suppose, because depending on how you use it personally, it doesn't really matter what you use I suppose. My all-time favourite is the Tarte Shape Tape, just because it's full coverage. It dries like a semi-matte finish, which I enjoy, because then if I don't want to powder I don't have to without it looking wet. Another one I really enjoy is the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Rind, fabulous one. And another drugstore one I really enjoy is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define one. Now I'm going to be using a little bit of the Maybelline one today. Just applying that here. And I personally like to highlight like that. And then I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of the Makeup Revolution one, because this is slightly lighter, and just add a little dot of that to the areas where I like to highlight the most. Now going into my beauty blender and patting that away. Remember, patting always with concealer, because that way you get more coverage. And my favourite technique is to use a beauty blender. However, if you want to use a brush, I'd recommend using something like this brush you could definitely use. I'm probably going to be trying that out a bit more, because I've seen a lot of people do that and I'd like to try the technique out for myself. But at the minute my favourite way of blending it out is definitely with a sponge. Now, I'm going to be showing you how to cream contour, just because we're here and we're doing an in-depth tutorial, I thought I might as well. Now, I personally don't cream contour on a daily basis, I'm not going to lie. But if I do, I've got this Huda Beauty foundation, and this is in the shade Gingerbread. So this is like quite dark. What I'm going to do is, I've just got a little bit of that on my hand, and I'm now taking a Zoeva 110 brush, which is just like a little brush like this. Dip that in and just get it on the bristles, and then just sort of work that in, and then take a little bit here and under the jaw, and I'm just gonna reel it lightly, really lightly. Don't bring it up too high, but you don't want to bring it up too, you don't want to bring it down too low either, sorry. So I'm just like placing this at the minute, you know, and this just, for me personally, this cream contour just sort of is a base, and obviously brings a bit of warmth into the face as well. I think cream contour is great for bringing warmth into the face more than actually contouring. So I use mine like that, and then I go back in with my foundation brush to blend that out, just because I feel like it blends a lot more seamlessly if I use the foundation brush. I think it's because it has maybe like leftover foundation, so it really helps to blend it out. So just the same technique as blending the foundation in, but just keeping it in the same area. We don't want to be blending it everywhere. That's the important bit when contouring, and I'll come on to that in a minute. And then I just take whatever's left over on my hand, just take it on the same brush, and then run it down the side of my nose just to bring some warmth back. And now you're all cream contoured and ready to go. Now, powder wise, I personally prefer to use well, I like to use a compact powder sometimes. I don't mind it, but at the minute I'm really into loose powders. So I'm taking my Huda Beauty one, this is in the shade Sugar Cookie, and I just dip into the top of that and tap it off. And then I press really lightly with a Real Technique setting brush, just pat over where we concealed. Just like that. Just patting, 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 picking up really little bit at a time. So you don't really want like a white splotch when you apply your powder. You just want to be really setting it quite lightly, especially if you've got dry skin. Now, something I just forgot to mention, if you have oily skin, I probably wouldn't recommend you using so many creams. So, like cream contour I wouldn't really recommend to you. It's just another cream that could slide off your face. So I'd stick to fully powdering. I've only got this powder at the minute, but some powders I could recommend to you is the MAC one. I really enjoy the MAC Compact powder, and I also enjoy from the drugstore the Rimmel Stay Matte. That's not bad at all. However, I just feel like it has a bit of it's like sparkles in it, I found, which puts me off a little bit, but I don't mind it. For a cheap option, I think it's a really good powder. So if you're looking for something from the drugstore, the Rimmel one is one of my favourites. Also the Maybelline Fit Me Press Compacted powder, that's a fabulous one actually, I forgot about that. So now I patted that just in my T-zone where I've applied the concealer. Again, if you're really oily, I'd probably recommend you putting your powder on with a sponge, especially in the really oily areas. I definitely suggest you powdering everywhere. I'm going to be using something that I find is probably one of the easiest things to contour with. Especially to start off with, I'd recommend you using something along this line. This is the Hoola bronzer, and as you can see, it's not really dark, so you can really go to town, just swirl, swirl, swirl. I like to use an angled brush, and I just hold it here, and I start just by getting right up near the ear. Keep going in and follow. So see your nose here. People think, oh, we need to go down. You don't. That is the worst thing you can do when contouring, because that's just going to bring your face down instead of lifting it up. So what we do is we aim to flick the nose, so it's actually like you're going in a straight line more than a diagonal. And then with that, you just blend upwards. Like that. And as you can see, this side now has got a lot of warmth to it, and it's quite lifted. And then on the forehead, it's just, you know, you don't have to contour your forehead. I like to bring a little bit of colour to it. And I just go right in my temple here and almost like bring it in like that. And then jawline is pretty simple, the jawline. You just want to get right in like that. And then always remember to bring it down the neck a little bit as well, so you don't have a floating head. And then the same on the other side. Really get in there first at the back near the ear, and then like a straight line. And when you're blending it out, try and keep your hand as far down as you can to avoid a lot of pressure. And just remember to always kind of blend upwards to avoid muddiness. And this is a great bronzer for those who have oily skin or dry, so I definitely recommend the Hoola bronzer, but I use it for contour. I don't really contour around my bronze, but you definitely can. I just don't personally. And then if you find that for contour that's not enough and you think it's gone a bit messy, you just get your powder, and I'd recommend doing this on a sponge, and you can just cut it like that. Like that. And you can also do that on the nose. For nose contouring, I use the My Kit Co 015 brush, which is like a little angled brush like that, and I just take it on the Hoola bronzer, really tap it off, and I just lightly go down the side of my nose, and I bring it up like that. And it really makes a difference. And if you feel like you've gone in too heavy, use your powder brush. Just go over that, lifting it, like flicking it up. Oh, as I said, I don't like to bronze really on top of contour, and that's sufficient. But if you do, a few options is the Guerlain terracotta bronzer is fabulous. I don't know if it's Rimmel. I think it's Rimmel do a really good one, which I don't have unfortunately here with me today. But then I also enjoy the bareminerals, the compact one and the loose one in the shade Warmth. That's a great one. Now I'm gonna go on to blush now. So also a tip, if you've got oily skin, try and avoid a bronzer with glitter in it, otherwise it's just not probably the best for you. I don't like glitter in my bronzers really, I try to avoid it, but personal preference I suppose. Now for blush, it really depends what you want. I love the NYX Ombre blush. I like glittery blushes with shine in it. So for me now, I'm just going to take my Duo Fibre contour brush, this, and swirl in there and just tap in. And just go straight. I don't like to go on the apples of the cheek necessarily, I like to almost blend my contour out with my blush. So I'll do the same thing again on the other side. Bring it up. If you bring it here, it kind of drags it down. You want to like bring it right up. Then I also like to apply a little bit to the chin to the temples, a little bit on the nose, like that. Now this is a great blush if you have dry skin and you want that glow, because as you can see now, it's got a really nice glow. So this is in the shade Nude to Me, if you're interested. And a dupe for this, well no, this is actually a dupe for the Inglot blush I find. This is the face blush in the shade 33, and this is like glittery as well, which creates a nice sheen. So that is a dupe for that one. Now if you want a nice matte blush, I'd recommend Tarte. Tarte do fabulous blushes for matte, because I do like a matte blush sometimes, but I'm just more into shiny ones at the minute. And I also like cream blush. Now cream blush, I've just discovered this one, and this is the bareminerals cream blush in the shade Luminous Pink. Now I really enjoy this. I wear this like every day. Even if I just wear a bit of concealer, I'll wear this instead. Can't get it open. There we go. And it's just, I don't know if you can see that anyway. Let me get my phone. I don't know if you can see, but it has that little glitter. Oh, it's like iridescent, I'd say. So if you want a cream blush, these are fabulous. Stila do some nice cream blushes that are matte. So if you don't want like an actual shiny one, probably the Stila one would be better. But as I said before, if you have oily skin, try and go for a matte one, which would be the Tarte I'd recommend. I think Maybelline also do some nice blushes, so definitely check them out. Now, I personally, after I've done my blush and everything, I would just be wiping this away. Yeah, I'm almost like blending it out though, still, like that. Because you don't want a really harsh line. And as you can see now, my face is really like inwards, so it's made that illusion of like a smaller face, I suppose. Now, highlighter. This is where a lot of people struggle. My mother, my sister, I know a lot of people that struggle with highlighter. They don't know where to place it, they don't know what to use, they don't know if to use it at all. Now, if you have oily skin, use it if you want to. You can definitely use it, you can definitely get away with it, just don't put it everywhere. Don't put it everywhere, that's a mistake. People like go too heavy. Don't do that, otherwise you're just gonna look an oily mess. Now, if you do, if you have oily skin, matte, everything matte. So as you can see, I'm quite dewy right now, but I'd recommend doing everything matte. Matte foundation, powdered, all everywhere. It should be fully matte, and then you can go with a nice highlighter, so you just have that nice pop. Whereas if you do something like this, it probably won't work for you. Okay, so option number one. If you don't really like a strong highlight, the Laura Geller Baked Highlighter in the shade French Vanilla. This is probably one of my favourites. As you can see, it looks like powder. But when I apply it there, it just gets this nice sheen. So this is too sheer for me personally. But how I like to use this is I take it on this little brush and I just really lightly go over every part of my face, really lightly. And that is just like a dupe for the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders. It's so lovely, you know, it creates that shine, just adds that extra oomph, but it's not too much. So if you just want like that nice glow, this is the one for you, definitely. I definitely recommend you trying this out. If you want something a bit more blinding, I'd recommend like one of the Anastasia highlighters. This one unfortunately now is not being sold anymore, but I'm going to show you anyway, because Anastasia do great highlighters. I don't like the loose ones though, just my personal opinion. But you know, you can just like that. You're done, really. Like just remember, keep it in like one spot really, don't blend it all over your face, even when you have dry skin. Just like that. That's the Anastasia Amrezy highlighter. And this is on my Kitco, my Ultra Multi brush. This is the small one. Now I'm just going to show you the other option that I have. The MAC one is fabulous as well. This is a matte Whisper Gill. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm just going to put this a little bit on my nose. you know, you can see how blinding it is. I would normally use a pencil brush, but it's just because I've got it on the brush now, so I might as well use it. And I'll put a little bit here. You can highlight your chin a little bit. I don't always, but sometimes I do. I'm just going to put a little bit there. I love to highlight there. And then now I'm going to show you, let me just wipe that off. Now I'm going to show you a cheaper version. This is the Sleek palette and this is the Solstice palette. Probably heard of this if you've watched a lot of YouTube. Now this is a good highlighter. It's not bad at all, but I find them a bit dry. I'm not going to lie. It's like and I feel like they have a cast. It's like, let's see if this works. The peach one's not bad, and it's very blinding. Don't get me wrong, it's very blinding. For a cheap highlighter, this is great, but it's not my favourite. Like, I definitely recommend the MAC one over it, or the Anastasia one. And actually, another one, I've not got it here. I've got it in my other makeup bag. The Maybelline Master Chrome highlighters, is it called? I think it's called that, and it's just really pretty. It's really smooth. I definitely recommend that. So if you've got dry skin or combo, this is the sort of places I'd recommend using it. Like, definitely on your high points, but on your nose, maybe not here, you might get a bit oily there, and maybe not on your chin. But you could definitely also then go into, so you could go into like this little brush. I'm going to go into the Anastasia one for this, and just take a little bit in a corner. I know this is a full face, but this is face to me. It's highlighter. It's a face product. You know, I just add it here under the brow, like that. And you're pretty much done then. You've got your glow everywhere you could possibly want it. Now if you feel like you've gone too heavy handed, you can go in with your sponge and you can just tap that down. Just go a little bit here. And as you can see, that's really toned it down. But I think that's it for my tips for you for the face. I really hope you've enjoyed this video because I think it's quite helpful, because obviously like some of you don't know what to use, which is completely normal, but since I do have some knowledge on it, I thought I'd share it. And you've all been asking me some products that I use, what to use for oily skin, and if you would like to see, because obviously this is more of a tutorial really for dry skin, but if you'd like to see me do a tutorial for oily skin, even though I've not got it, I could still definitely do one for you. Please let me know and I can sort that out for you pretty quickly, so just let me know if you would like to see that and I can definitely sort it out. I'm just going to quickly pop in a bit of mascara and I'll be right back. So guys, this is the finished look. I've just added a little bit of mascara and a lip gloss, that'll be linked in the description box what I've used. And I'll also leave everything I've mentioned, even things I didn't use. I'll list them all down in the description box, so if you're curious, go check that out. And I just really hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful and you can put some of my information into use. If you want any more videos like this, more like information videos, please let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. And again, if you have any other ideas, let me know. If you have enjoyed this, please remember to go like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I'd just like to say a big thank you for watching. If you've got this far, thank you. And if you would like to see a matte version of this, again, please let me know and I'll sort that out for you. But that is the end of this video, guys. Remember to go check the link, everything down below. I've got all my social media linked down below, as well as all the products, so be sure to go and check that out. But that's it for today, so I'd just like to say one last thank you for watching and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye guys.